Greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, that is round 8 of PRL Season 10. Now, despite this lap being my pole position lap, I'm not going to show you the entire thing. It wasn't that great.
30 seconds left in the session.
It was actually 3/10 off my PB, and when you see who qualified second and what tyre they were on, you'll realise it probably wasn't the best lap of everyone in this session. But it is purple, and we'll take our second pole of the season. But look at that, second place on the soft compound tyre, less than 400ths behind Maznat. He doesn't get his 5th pole of the season quite yet, but it was pretty damn good. Danny lines up third and tried to go around the outside of Maz as I went to the inside at turn 1. There was a massive cluster which allowed me a bit of a break. We'll see what happened on board with the Renault. It's actually Bozza who comes down the inside.
I'm sandwiched.
Unfortunately for Danny, she actually got an illegal overtake for that and wasn't able to give the position back, meaning that she would get a 5-second penalty at her next pit stop. Now Maznat, very fast, and at Baku it's very, very difficult to defend on this long straight, especially with the DRS. On that occasion, Maz didn't have it and wasn't quite close enough, but strangely, when the DRS was deployed, he still didn't have enough. Don't forget that he is on a harder compound, so the advantage is squarely with him at this stage, especially as rain is forecast around halfway through the race, and of course on these supers I won't make it, I didn't think, at this stage. Anyhow, we are defending. This is the only real point on the track where Maz is having a good look at me. He goes around the outside each time because I don't present him with the inside. And that was key, because I think if I'd given him the inside, it would have been fairly easy for the Renault driver. He's a very good driver, of course. But now we're starting to see smaller margins coming out of the last corner that you really have to brake for, not counting these sweepers. 4/10 it was that time, so surely, with the slipstream with the DRS, Maznat will put his Renault into the lead. You'd have thought. Look how close he is. We haven't even got to the DRS activation point yet, somewhere in that region, and he's already drawing alongside. Can I defend this? Got his nose in front there, but strangely wasn't able to pull alongside earlier than that despite having the DRS. My theory being that my setup was that good, that it was a lot better than his in a straight line. Now this time the gap was actually even smaller. So if we look back, which I'm sure I will, you can see how close the Renault is once again. Well within DRS, probably half the detection requirement he needs. This time he falls back though, curiously, so I'm wondering whether he was in lane that lap. However,
Radar suggests some weather is going to hit in around 5 minutes time, so stay on your toes.
as Jeff informs us of impending showers, there is a bit of a calamity here. Turn 3 became an opportunity there for Maz, but Bozza was the one who took advantage of it, trying to pass Danny for P3, the 4 of us, the lead group at this stage. But Danny fights back spectacularly around the outside there of 6, I believe that is, and takes 3rd back from Bozza in the Force India. Now lap 7, and the gap was as small as it's been at the end of the lap. We can already see an arrow on the indicator from Maz. Surely, at some stage, I won't have enough left to fight this. I'm in rich as always. We've got our one front wing.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
This time the full car is in front of Maz, but he locks up, goes off track. I avoid any potential collision, but we are back through. That was his best chance, easily, to take the lead. And he's still right there. There's another DRS detection here, and he's going to activate it. You can see the rear wing already open. He's that close. And I'm going to give him exactly a car's width. No more, no less. Don't want to break any rules. Also don't want to give up the lead. And this time he's gone deep, and it's cost him even more this time. I think there was a piece of wing coming off. We'll have a look from his perspective. As you can see, just over a car's width into turn 1. Bit of a pinch of the front left brake, it looked like. And we are back through. But it's this next corner that really changes the race for Maznat. Too deep.
Fuck me.
Excuse the language, sorry about that. But it's his wing damaged, and further around, unfortunately, it's completely gone. So back to 8th it was for Maznat. Back up in front, my tyres were absolutely shot by this point. If he'd have waited even a lap longer, it may have been curtains for me. However, Danny is the one who's being held up now. Teammates, I put it into lean, she goes by. She has much better tyre wear at this stage. We'd been conversing, of course. She also needed to serve a 5-second penalty, so I thought I'll let her go.
Exit now. You'll be
Pit at the end of lap 9, big mistake because I could have made it to this rank. And I wasn't the only one to make the tyre choice error. Danny also gone to try tyres.
Has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
Some people were very much struggling though who hadn't pitted yet, Heisenberg one of them. I was very thankful that he ghosted them when he reset. But now cars are starting to pit. What tyres would they go on? Kart Dude stayed out one of the longest on the super softs, and he would emerge on inters. Maz went for wets, and it was a bit too early. Unfortunately for him, the gamble not paying off. Others around him on inters, even though that looks like supers there. I had to make a second pit stop, and that really cost me, and I was actually falling back if you looked at the sector splits there from Stewart, who was second at the time, to Kart Dude, who had an even bigger margin than Stewart had on me. And that became even worse when I chucked it down the escape road at turn 3. One of the most difficult corners on the game, I have to say. It's the second time I've done that in league racing, and Wayno would go through this time. Unfortunately, Maznat had had enough. He quit from outside the points, albeit, but that would mean a huge gain for me in the championship standings. Of course, Maz, the main contender. Now Kart Dude made a critical choice here. He went to the wets, and at that stage it was correct. The track was definitely ready for wets.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A?
Jeff was telling me to change strategy, but he wasn't giving me any tyres. And that happened multiple times. Now, Kart Dude caught the leaders. He would go past Wayno for second. We're catching this on broadcast, by the way, from Maz's perspective.
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
Jeff's still up to his shenanigans, not giving me any tyre choice. So I thought maybe the wets aren't the right thing to do.
Yellow flag.
And as I looked in front, there had been a collision. And Wayno had skipped through to the lead. We'll see from his perspective.
Green flag.
Well, get in there, Wayno. Fucking bring this home, son.
It had actually been a collision between Stewart and Kart Dude.
Oh, well. Stuart McKenzie's out, just stacked it in turn 1 into the wall.
But that incident for the Williams, as you can see from my perspective there, gives me the podium. At this stage, I'm thinking P3 is pretty much sewn up. Until Bozza appears out of nowhere. Really didn't see this coming actually until he was right behind me. Had to start defending, but on lap 24 of 26, he overcooks it at the castle section, and that would be battle over.
This is your final lap of the race.
But it was one lap to go. Who would win? Would it be Wayno or Kart Dude? Kart Dude's tyres now not optimal. All of a sudden the inters are now the best tyre, and there's carnage at turn 3 as we lap some drivers. But I'm catching them as well. Kart Dude has nothing to hold the intermediate runners up. Surely we'll both get past him. But can Wayno do it and secure his first ever league victory? Kart Dude will be hoping no, but they've both gone wide, and will that allow me to sneak through? Yes, it has. We'll check it out from my perspective. I started the lap around 3 seconds off the lead, but such was Kart Dude's pace that it held up Wayno such that I got into position. I saw what was about to happen in front of me. I took the appropriate line and just about snuck through. Heartbreak for Wayno. I really feel for him. He had that. I was in the right place at the right time. I'd made my own mistakes earlier in the race. Wayno had driven almost perfectly, until this little error here where he actually catches the wall. Very lucky to escape damage, but across the line we come to secure an incredible victory. Baku always produces something, and on this occasion it overproduced. That was more than my heart could take. What a cracking way to rack up my 5th victory of the season. Kart Dude also on the podium. If only he'd have stayed on inters, he probably would have had that with considerable ease. I have been Jacko. I'll see you next time in Austria.